British athletes claim sex ghost is haunting their reality show.
What? That just about made me do a spit take. I'm sorry.
Any brides out there, don't poop your dress. And then don't proceed to dance in the dress after you crap it. Just like take it as a loss. Like, what do you do? Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Everything But the Podcast. I am your host, Tonysaurus Rex, alongside my co-host for this episode, the homie Twiztid Joker, who you've heard in gameplays, you've heard in old interviews on Masters of the Underground, which, as you know, I brought back earlier this year as Masters of the Underground Rebirth, and a couple of those episodes will be debuting very soon. But I wanted some co-hosts for this show so that I wasn't always just talking for like an hour or 45 minutes or whatever by myself. I wanted somebody to kind of bounce back and forth with. So I asked Twiztid Joker to do this episode with me tonight. It's like 12:36 in the morning when we're recording this.
It is super late, bro.
I just heard a really loud sound in the freaking room that sounded like whenever we were playing Dying Light and you hit something with the guitar or the frying pan.
It was just like, I heard that too, and I was like, "What is that?"
I don't know, but it's going to be in the podcast. Tonysaurus Rex has sound effects now without even trying.
I heard it, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, "What just twanged in the background?"
Dude, I don't even know what it was. It sounded like a empty soda can, but there's no soda cans in here.
Yeah, dude, it sounded like something fell and was like aluminum or solid hollow. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That's hilarious. Well, to let everybody know, we do have a lot of things we're trying to talk about, and yeah, I don't. I'm cutting that because I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Bro,
I have
don't cut
points.
Nothing. Just leave it all here.
I have the talking points, but I don't have them in any specific order.
We're just going to talk about points, and then we're going to poke them in places.
Well, first of all, only I came up with the points. I didn't tell you to come up with any points because it was the last minute. So
typically, and I don't know any of the points.
Yeah, if we do any more in the future, we will both. Well, you know two of them. You know the review section of it.
Well, yeah, but that's it. And I'm lost on the rest, and I'm kind of scared.
Well, the rest was mainly... I was going to make some announcements for the Masters of the Underground Rebirth. That tomorrow I'm interviewing an artist by the name of Jay Bizarre who'll be coming on the show, and that episode will probably go up. It might go up tomorrow. It might go up the same day. I don't know. I'm interviewing him tomorrow afternoon. Well, I guess technically it's this afternoon now because it's after midnight. And technically, if this goes up the same day, it's like the same day that I'm doing it. So now I'm really just confused myself.
Yeah, I don't know it's late, bro.
Yeah, it's like I'm recording this episode with Jay Bizarre tomorrow, and then say this actual episode goes up like Monday or something, and nothing makes sense anymore. Because it was the future and the past. I'm coming to you from the future and the past at the same time.
You just broke the time continuum, bro.
Oh my goodness, that actually leads me to something. Somebody actually, this is one of my points. I messaged, well, I didn't message, but I did a tweet earlier today for people to ask me questions for the podcast so I could drag it on a little bit longer. Of course, at that time, I didn't have you on the show, but I'm trying to scroll back through Twitter. I'm literally trying to scroll through Twitter and talk to you at the same time because there was one question that I like, oh wait, oh my goodness. This is a failure. Oh, I forgot that I screenshotted it so I wouldn't have to scroll back through this stuff.
Oh, kid, come on.
Here we go. I'm going to ask you the question and see what you would say, and then I'll say what I would say. I actually thought this question was interesting. This was from Guido Plays, which is another gaming YouTuber. And he said, if a cat was shrunk to the same size as a mouse, then the two animals were made to fight to the death. Which animal would win and why?
What?
Yeah, I was like...
If a cat
was shrunk to the same size as a mouse, and then both the cat and the mouse were forced to fight to the death, which animal would win the fight and why? That was his question. He was the only one that asked the question. So I was like, well, your question's definitely in.
Well, that's a really good question. Actually, that's a really good question. Well, I mean, you got the cons and pros of both sides. You got kitties and their claws and their rah, and then you got the mice that are just resistant to everything.
Yeah, what's interesting to me when I think
don't
about it
know.
is because you have the size, the cat got shrunk down, so it's the same size as the mouse, so it's no longer bigger than the mouse. But then you have the question
Yeah.
of does the cat realize it's no longer bigger than the mouse? Because he didn't say the cat would lose its ferocity, so the cat still has the
Yeah.
same mean streak, then I feel like the cat would still win.
I think that would be its flaw though, because it didn't realize it got shrunk. The cat would go in like it's the bigger animal and go to like destroy this mouse, and the mouse would just be like, "Nah, screw you," and destroy it.
That's true too, and the rat would probably be, if the cat was the same size, the rat is now the same size as the cat. I don't know. It's kind of an even matchup when you think about it.
Yeah, it kind of is, but like mice are like resistant to everything, and I've owned mice in my life. Like mice are pretty resilient, and they're pretty vicious. They can be mean, but I mean, if a cat doesn't know that it got shrunk down, I think that could be its downfall, because it'll still have that big kitty mentality against something little, and the little thing will be like, "Nah, you my size, I got you."
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because the cat would probably not. Yeah, because he didn't say, does the cat realize that it shrunk? He just said the cat shrunk.
Yeah,
but then the cat, even if it shrunk, is still going to have the claws.
Yeah,
but because it's the same size, the rat has the big teeth.
Yeah, so, there's some dilemmas going on with this question.
Yeah, we're having a real struggle here. We know if you listen to this podcast, I'm gonna say the cat, just because I think even though the cat is smaller, I think it would maintain the ferocity and the speed advantage. Even though a rat is fast, I think the cat would maintain that hunter instinct that it has, so it would still be able to take out the rat. That's what I'm going with.
And I'm going to say the mouse or rat or whatever, because it's going to be like, "Nah, you little," and the cat's not going to realize it's little yet.
Nice. So that was an interesting start, because we both have that going on. Then I also, at some point, I don't know if I want to do it right away.
That was a really good question.
Yeah, I really like that.
That was a really good question, though.
And I had another one from somebody you know, but I'd have to scroll through Facebook to find it, so that one's just going to wait for another episode because I can't remember.
Oh, somebody I know.
Someone who's played games with us.
Oh.
I told you.
What is this question?
Someone who's going to be coming on about this now. Someone who's going to be coming on it. Well, she asked this question a while ago when I very first originally posted to ask questions, and then nobody did it, and then she did one. So this is
you told me that.
Yeah,
she
so it's
did.
an older one.
I just don't know what the question is.
All right, we're gonna keep talking it. I'm gonna see if I can't find it. Let's talk about. Okay, let's see. I have something else on here. What I'm trying to do now is a thing called creepy news, where I'm gonna find like paranormal occurrences or stuff like that happen, like whatever most recent ones I can find that are just like bizarre or paranormal, and then talk about them.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And this one you might find very interesting. I found this on HuffPost. I have no idea. It seems like the only ones I could find were from Britain. They were all freaking British. But this one said, British athletes claim sex ghost is haunting their reality show.
What?
That's the one way to scare up publicity. 2 British athletes starring on a reality show are claiming that a sex ghost seems to be haunting their hotel rooms.
A sex ghost? What even is that?
I don't know, but I knew I had to talk about it with you, because I was like, I gotta get Twiztid Joker's thoughts on this.
How is that a thing? Like, what is a sex ghost?
British Paralympian Kadina Cox. Isn't that ironic? Because sex ghost and her last name is Cox. And retired rugby star Gareth Thomas are 2 of the celebrities competing on The Jump, a British show where famous people compete in various snow sports. A ski jump with the stars. Nobody gives a crap. Get on to the ghost. During the
Bro,
episode,
that just about made me do a spit take. I'm sorry.
okay, now you're talking about spitting, and we're talking about a second. Where is this episode going right now?
I was taking a drink when you started saying it, and then you said about her name, and I almost shot out my drink.
This episode better be labeled explicit. The season's first episode aired Sunday on the Channel 4 network, but the show is stirring up more attention for what's happening in the celebs' hotel rooms. Maybe it just likes the fact her name's Cox. During the episode,
I want a piece of that.
During the episode, the 25-year-old Cox reportedly asked for a new room after allegedly being sexually violated by a ghost. This person's really claimed.
Oh my god!
Oh wow, this is going into detail. Another competing celebrity, Emma Parker Bowles, the Duchess of Cornwall's niece. What? Who cares about the Duchess of Cornwall or that she's her niece? Said on the show that Cox was penetrated by some of paranormal entities.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know if the HuffPost is real or not. She had a ghost going in and out of her. She had a sleep thing, he said. According to his son, she wishes it were a person. It was going in and out of her. Wait a minute. What? She was violated. Then she said that she wished it was a real person. Okay, so where were we?
I don't know, but dude, I got tears.
Oh, yeah. She wishes it were a person. It was going in and out of her body. The feeling was apparently so real to her, she asked for a room change, as did Thomas. I wanted to move to different floors because when I'm hearing these ghost stories, I was at the very, very end of the corridor and I got scared. Okay, this has to be fake because you went from saying that you were being penetrated to just saying that you got scared and moved.
Yeah, and you were wishing it was real. What?
Yeah, none of this makes sense. Oh my goodness, you got to hear this part. Cox and Thomas are just the latest semi-famous people who've claimed to have had ghost sex. Last year, Bobby Brown promoted his autobiography by claiming a ghost had sex with him. I wasn't high, Brown told 2020. I was not tripping.
I wasn't high.
I was not high.
Oh, dude, I'm crying.
In September 2012, Kesha told Ryan Seacrest her song Supernatural was inspired by a Randy romp with a male ghost.
Oh my god, what is this, dude?
Okay, I'm beginning to think HuffPost is a parody news. I don't care, it's still funny, but
I think so, but that's hilarious.
It's about experiences with the supernatural, but in a sexy way, she told Seacrest. I had a couple of experiences with the supernatural. I don't know his name. I don't know his name.
Dude, I'm crying.
Just ties even more into it.
I'm crying so bad right now. This is hilarious.
Wait. It says he was a ghost. I'm very open to it, but then under it says the concept of ghost sex arouses lots of interest. Arouses lots of interest? Come on now. They totally included that pun intentionally.
Yeah,
and there are some people, spectrophiliacs, who fantasize about spooky encounters.
Who's spectrophiliac? What?
Spectrophiliacs.
Is that real? Is that a thing?
Apparently, they fantasize about spooky encounters. Debunkers, however, are quick to dismiss ghost on human whoopee. Ben Radford, the deputy editor of Skeptical Inquirer magazine, calls such experiences hypnopompic and hypnagogic hallucinations. I don't know what that means. These vivid hallucinations, which can be sexual, are common to people who are going in and out of sleep. They are usually harmless.
I've heard of necrophiliac, but I've never heard of spectrophiliac.
Spectrophiliac. I guess that's people that are obsessed with wanting to have sex with ghosts.
How is that even a thing? Like, what
I don't know, but that turned from creepy news into like hilariously weird news.
Dude, like, what can happen in your brain that makes you want to have sex with a ghost?
Well, I guess there would be like those people that are obsessed with like the succubus and that stuff. Let's say they have, and then it like takes over. But still, usually they're terrified of it. They're not wanting to do it again.
Yeah, and like the fact of wanting to have sex with a ghost, like how does that work? Like how do you feel anything? How does it feel good? You know what I'm saying? Like
this one had something that I literally thought was a typo. This is from a different website called The Mirror. So this one is from a UK one too. It says, Mom freaked out as haunted frozen doll returns the house after... Oh my goodness! Get off my phone! I don't care about your stupid pop-ups! Mom freaked out as haunted frozen doll returns the house after she binned it twice. And I was like, what? Like, I thought maybe it meant burned, something like that. But it literally says a family has been left feeling rather freaked out after one of their daughter's Christmas presents returned to their home after being put in the bin twice. Okay, that was actually
UK.
a video.
That's the trash. That's the trash. It's the UK. Bin is
yeah,
trash.
I figured, but when I first saw the title, I didn't realize, and I was like, binned it. Like, I thought maybe it meant burned. But then I read it again. I was like, okay, they threw it in the trash bin. Yeah, apparently.
You got that.
Wow, this is it. It's no secret that dolls can be pretty creepy. We've seen enough horror films to know that. But one thing we didn't think would prove quite so scary is a Disney toy. But one woman has been left terrified of a piece of Frozen merchandise. So when they went Frozen, they meant literally a toy from Frozen.
Oh, see, I didn't get that from the
I didn't
first
get it
part
either. It says that she was left terrified of a piece of Frozen merchandise her child was given for Christmas. A mom, I keep saying mom, even though I'm not from the UK, from Houston has taken to social media to reveal why she believes her daughter Aurelia has a haunted Elsa doll. In a viral post on Facebook that has now been deleted, Emily Madonia explained that Aurelia's toy had first started to freak them out when it began singing and talking in Spanish while switched off. Okay, that is kind of creepy.
Yeah, that is a little creepy. I mean, I'd be freaked out by that.
She and her husband Matt decided to throw the doll out with their daughter's blessing, but since then it has found its way back into their home not once but twice. Emily wrote, Matt threw it away weeks ago, and then we found it inside on a wooden bench. And then here's another quote that says, okay, so we were weirded out and tightly wrapped it in its own garbage bag and put that garbage bag inside another garbage bag filled with other garbage and put it in the bottom of our garbage can underneath a bunch of other bags of garbage and wheeled it to the curb, and it was collected on garbage day. The family then went on holiday thinking the whole thing was behind them, but when they returned home, the doll was back. We were out of town, forgot about it. Today, Aurelia says, Mom, I saw the Elsa doll again in the backyard.
Dude, that's just pretty creepy. Like that, I would probably poop my pants.
Yeah, I probably would too. I'd be like, nope, I'm leaving this house. This doll can stay at the house, and I'm leaving.
I'd probably poop myself, legit. If
I
saw it again after knowing I threw it away, I would probably legit poop myself.
Hang on, it's not done. After throwing it out didn't work, Emily decided the only way to be rid of the thing for good was to send it far, far away. So she posted it to her friend Chris, who lives over 1,500 miles away and had been entertained by the tale of the haunted doll. She confirms Chris has since received Elsa and has taped the creepy toy to the bonnet of his car to stop it from going anywhere else. That's how that story ending, or how it ended. Unsurprisingly, people on Facebook were shocked by the post.
So they sent it. She sent it to this dude that has it now, and he taped it to the what of his car?
The bonnet of his car. I don't know what a bonnet is for a car.
Is that supposed to be like your?
I'm thinking the hood of the car or something.
I was thinking like the roof.
Wait. I'm not reading this one, but I just saw a title for another article on this. Bride ruins 12K euro dress on wedding day when she gambled on a fart and lost in big way.
What? What is that?
I don't know, but I just clicked on it.
Dude, you gotta read that one.
Bride ruins 12K euro dress on wedding day when she gambled on fart and lost in big way.
She gambled and it was just a fart and she pooped it in.
That's what Rebecca just said in the background, that she crap herself.
A wedding
planner was left sponging down a sobbing naked bride after a last-minute plan to fix some last-minute belly bloating went catastrophically wrong. What should have been the happiest day of her life was completely ruined because she spent the day knocking back detox shakes, resulting in disaster when she gambled on a fart and lost in a big way. She ended up ruining her $12,000 dress, but refused to let that stop her. What? Refused to let that stop her from having a first dance with her husband in front of their nearest and dearest. But things went from bad to worse and ended up with the couple feeding each other wedding cake with poo-stained hands.
Oh.
The wedding planner was first alerted to the issue when she heard the dreaded words, "We have an issue," over her headset.
She had to poo, and it turned out she pooped.
The planner said you could smell her 4 feet away. The planner saw the most curious blend of expressions pass over the bride's face.
Oh, I bet. That's a weird combo. Like, oh, I got a fart. Oh, that's not a fart.
She took to Reddit to share the horrifying details, which she admits still make her cringe. Her post has attracted more than 5,000 comments, with most users being pretty grossed out by the turn of events and others labeling her as a hero and a champ. You know what I'm labeling her as? Poopy Bride. She is now dubbed Poopy Bride.
Poopy Bride.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's.
There was no water or electricity in the place either.
What?
She claims the bride had let out a substance no human body should emit. I'm just looking at her manicured nails. Residue of diarrhea are just embedded in her nail bed. I start trying to scrape the poo out with a fabric stain wipe.
Oh, that's nasty. That's I'm done with this story. That's nasty.
Dude, all this time I was doing that, I was supposed to be finding the other thing, but I ended up reading the story and never finding the other thing.
That's nasty. Dude, the fact that there was no electricity and no water, what are they, Amish?
I didn't read the whole part about the no electricity or water, so I don't know. No, because it's in the UK.
Well, do the UK not have Amish?
I don't know, but that is like, yeah, Poopy Bride, I don't know. Don't mix, what was it? Some kind of shake and cocktails?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. That makes a scary combination.
Any brides out there, don't poop your dress. And then don't proceed to dance in the dress after you crap it. Just like take it as a loss. Like, what do you do?
Don't take detox shakes on your wedding day. That's a highly good word of advice right there. They will make you poo.
Oh my goodness, this is we still got so much more to do. Okay, while I'm still looking for this, we did want to do we wanted to move on to a review segment, which is kind of like a Masters of the Underground Rebirth crossover with everything but the podcast. I wanted to talk about Whitney Peyton's new album Alpha, and you finally had a chance to listen to the album in its entirety. So I wanted us to be able to talk about that a little bit, maybe review it.
Yes, I listened to everything but like 2 songs, and I got to listen to them like the last 2 songs that I missed like 2-3 hours ago. I finished the last 2 songs. Album is fire, bro. It's fire.
Dude, I say the same thing. And one thing I could say that I think about the album is it feels like it was a bit of a personal journey for Whitney Peyton on the album. Like, you could tell that she went through a lot of things over the last year and stuff, and the music was like directly related to the things that she went through. Like, yeah, there was a few that were like the club bumping songs and stuff like that, but a lot of the other stuff felt very emotional.
Yeah, I 100% agree. She did a lot of things in this album. Like, she came out with a lot of things that were straight personal, and that gives 100% respect to her. That was like awesome. But the way she delivered everything, it was straight. I don't know. It blew my eardrums away. It was great.
And the freaking beats, my goodness.
Yeah, for real. They were lit, bro.
I was listening to it again at work today, and like even like the more sadder sounding ones, which we'll get into because we're gonna go through each song. Hopefully, I mean we got 15 minutes left of this call, and then it's gonna end, and we're gonna start another one, so we can keep going. This will be my longest podcast ever, but maybe I should have never asked anybody else to co-host, and I should just ask you to do this once a week with me. And everybody else can just
be like an hour and a half broadcast, but
probably, but I'm enjoying it so far. So
yeah, dude, this is good.
Okay, let's start. I forgot what we were talking about. We're talking about Whitney Peyton's album, but you had said something
Yeah,
that I was
Whitney
trying to
Peyton's
comment
album.
on, and then I got distracted because my mind had a brain fart because it's 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh, the first song. We'll go in order of the songs. The first song, "Villain." Like it already
Villain.
starts off
Okay, yeah,
with like a complete punch. Like it's hype from the beat. But the song, that's one song that I felt like was another very personal one because the hook for it is like her looking at the mirror and saying that she's become the villain.
yes, I agree. It's a very. It seems like, I mean, it may not be, but it seems like it's a very personal song.
Yeah, like almost like a journey of like well, I felt like a lot of the songs on here. Now that I could be wrong about this too, because obviously I haven't talked to Whitney herself since 2017, so I haven't talked to her about the album. But it did feel like a lot of the
Yeah,
songs could relate directly to depression, like going through
yeah, I
depression,
agree.
overcoming depression.
Yeah, I agree. I got that vibe through like almost the whole album. Like you get that vibe like she's been bullied because of, I mean, not long ago she came out that she wasn't just straight, like she was bi as well.
Yep.
So like, and that album puts a lot towards that, and it seems like it also shows that she went through some bullying for being bi, and not just, you know what I mean, like
Yeah, I heard a
she
lot.
took some
She took some,
she took some
probably
grief, you know
mostly
what I mean?
online, but I know that I don't remember which song it was. But well, we're trying. We're supposed to only be talking about villains, and we're splitting off into everything else. But whatever, that's how we do things. But I
Well, I
know
mean,
that
she says something about it in Villain too, so I mean,
yeah, in more than one song.
yeah, more than one.
Yeah, because she mentions in the one song, I don't remember exactly which song it was, but about the people saying, is she only with women or is she only with men or something, or does she like women or does she like men?
Yeah,
So that was kind of like you could tell that people were like kind of hating on her for her personal choices, and she just kind of wants to be herself and be accepted for that. And you would think in
yeah.
today's society, where like these different things are accepted, that she should be accepted just like anybody else would be accepted on the street.
Yeah, you would think that, but for some reason, because excuse me, for some reason, because I think the only reason that she's getting so much crap about it is because, I mean, if you look at her, she's a beautiful young lady,
Right.
and I'm sure a lot of people look at her as a role model. A lot of young ladies look at her as a role model, and when she came out that she's not just straight, when she's bi or whatever she considers herself, whatever it is, I don't know for sure, but whenever she came out that she was that, I'm sure a lot of parents or people that had kids that looked up to her and all that kind of stuff were like, well, that's not what I was expecting, you know what I mean? And it turned into a lot of crap, and a bunch of other people were like, well, I don't agree with that. And
Yeah, and there's
it's today's
obviously
society is
a lot of people hate
it's
it just
crazy.
because they're jealous of her success. I mean, she just
Yeah,
joined.
exactly.
I don't remember what's the name of Cottonmouth King's label. Is it Subnor's Records? Is that still the name of the label?
I
I
think
don't
that
remember.
is.
But I know that she just got signed to that like huge deal, which was like a big deal for her. So her new album is under the new record label, which is pretty cool for her. So I think a lot of people just
Which
hate
is
just because they're jealous. I mean, she
yeah,
is like freaking
and
killing it right now.
oh yeah, she is. And let's put this out there. This is her first album that is on a label that she didn't grind to get out there on her own.
Yeah, like to a sign label, basically. Like
Yeah,
her
this is
first.
the first one that's out on a label, not her doing it herself.
Right. And okay, so that went from villain into us just talking about Whitney Peyton and not even discussing the song.
This is true, but I mean,
let's
it's still a good discussion.
well, yeah, either way. But let's get back into actually trying to review the album so we can at least try and get that before the call ends in like 10 minutes and we have to go back.
Yeah.
The
Dude,
other
this
thing
is
I
going to be
wanted
a 2-hour podcast, you know it.
I mean, it probably is even after cutting, so it's all good. And then I'm probably not going to cut out like any of it. I'm just going to be like, screw it, it's just staying how it is. The only part I cut out is the part where I like leave the microphone for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's been good ever since.
And the other thing I thought of, like when I first see Villain, is that quote from The Dark Knight, whatever, at like the end of The Dark Knight, the one with Heath Ledger, where it says you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Like when I first saw the song, and even when she talks about like, looking at yourself in the mirror and now I'm the villain, that like immediately makes me think of that.
Yeah, I agree. That was my first initial thought whenever I listened to it. The first time I listened to that song, I was at work and I was sitting there like just kind of zoning, doing the same thing over and over. And I listened to that and I thought the exact same thing. I was like, she reminds me of Heath Ledger's Joker, you know? I was like, that's legit.
Yeah, and I was literally doing the same thing because I was running the conveyor printer at work. So that's usually when I'll throw on somebody's podcast or music. And obviously the day the album come out, I was like, I downloaded it at midnight and I couldn't wait to listen to it. But yeah, that was the same thing where it's like immediately just draws attention to that movie. And then now it made me want to freaking watch the movie again because I haven't seen it in forever. So
yeah, right. Like, I mean, I'm sure that's not what her intention was with it, but that's the way she delivered it is what it makes you think of.
Right, and that's the other thing is different people will, like with Whitney Peyton's music or with anybody's music really, and a different person could listen to it and get a different thing from it than someone else. That's the cool thing about music or stuff like that is you can get a different take on stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Now the second song, Double Up, that one was more of like a club, like more of a like get you moving kind of song.
Yeah, that was.
But I felt like that was one where she actually ended up rapping like really fast, which extremely impressed me. She killed the flow on that.
Yeah, she did have a really good flow in that song. The beat was fire, her flow was lit, like it matched perfectly. It just was a straight fire song. And
I feel like we're going to be saying this a lot about this album. It's like every song we're going to be like, it's a fire song. It's a fire song.
Yeah.
And the thing we should note is the album was the only thing that I found with the album is that I actually just wish it was longer. Because it was 10 songs, which is a decent size. But when you enjoy an album so much, you're just like, I just want more. Like, I want more.
Yeah. My only downfall with the album is it's 10 songs. It's almost a half hour long. That's the only downfall I had with the album. Other than that, everything on it was lit. It was fire. The song we're talking about, what was it? Double Up. That has I can't think of her name offhand, but the other member of Keyed Up.
Nope, that's not that one. That's the next one.
That's the next one?
Yeah, that's Enemy. It's with Gina Fritz from Keyed Up.
Oh, it is. It is Enemy. Okay. I was thinking that one I got them backwards.
Yeah, but Double Up is like the one where she talks about, basically she's like saying she's going to amp everything up. Like she goes on it.
Yeah.
I think that's the one where she has the verse that says, if it ain't about the money, I don't give a crap, or something like that. Like it's one of the parts where she's going fast, but she goes hard on that track.
Yeah, she does go hard on that track.
But with you bringing up the one with Keyed Up, we can segue right into that one, which is called Enemy. I actually watched that one whenever they premiered the music video before the album came out. They did like that. Mm-hmm. You know how YouTube has premieres? Mm-hmm. And I was there like in the chat watching that, and I almost got a double meaning from that one too with Enemy, almost like the enemy in the end. This could just be my own personal take. I'm not saying this is what she meant by it, but I felt like with that song, another one, like it starts off where you might think it might be like a breakup or like a former friend or something like that. But by the end, it was much like Villain with me, where it felt like when she was talking about the enemy, she was referring to herself. So almost like it's a battle with your own conscience or like a battle with yourself. That was kind of
That's kind of how I took it too, honestly. It may not be how she meant it to be, but that's honestly the exact same way that I took it. Like, it seems like whenever she starts out, it's about a friend or an ex or something like that, and at the end of it, you're like, well, maybe she's talking about herself.
Yeah, that was how I felt, because it was like starting like that, and then even in the music video, it never really actually shows their faces because they're wearing the masks the whole time. So that kind of
Mhm.
lent to that a little bit too, like creatively in the video for me, where it felt like by the end you're just kind of like referring to a battle with yourself type of deal.
Yeah.
And then the next song, I Got It, that was the one we were talking about where she references all the people like talking trash about her and just wanting to be herself. She's kind of like,
Yeah.
don't worry about me, I got this. Like, I can, like, just let me be myself. Okay, so where we left off, I think we were on I Got It. So
Yep. And I brought up the playlist so I can actually see what songs.
That's what I've
going
been
in
doing.
what.
I'm actually on. I've actually been on the album the whole time. That's how I know
And
about the songs.
actually,
Yes.
Enemy is the third song. Did we do Enemy? Yeah, we did Enemy.
Yeah, that's
now we're on. I got
remember
it.
I corrected you and said that's
Yeah.
the one that was keyed up.
Yeah. You did.
Yeah, we were
Jesus,
on
Matt.
I Got It whenever you left.
Mhm.
Whenever we started over. So I
Okay,
think now we're
we
on
got this.
Kick It. Oh crap, I don't remember what Kick It was.
No, we didn't finish I Got It. We just started the I Got It.
Okay, that was the one where I said I think she was doing in that one where she was like, just let me be myself.
Yep.
Of course, I felt like she was like that on a lot of songs. But I think that was the main one. I think that's the one where she talks about I think that's the one where, because I know she says like, don't worry about me, I got it.
Yeah. To be honest, I think this whole album revolves around this song. Just because she's saying, I got this, I can do what I want, I can do how I want because it's my life. And I think that goes with the name of the album, Alpha. She's the alpha of her life.
That's a really good point. Like, she's like, this is my life, I'm going to do what I want, I'm the author of my own life and like my own destiny. Like, you have no say in this, so stop trying to tell me how to live my life. Yeah, I do feel like that could be the theme kind of the whole album, how she just wants to be herself.
Yeah, that's what I get from like the title, and then after I listen to the album, like the title of the album fits with everything in the album because she's going with, I don't care what people say about me. It's my life. I do what I want. This is mine, not yours.
And then she talks about her life, which also ties into it because a lot of the songs that seem like are definitely like the next song, like segueing into Kick It. Like, I think that was the song on the album that sounded a lot like a breakup song. Like, I feel like that was revolved around the breakup. And she mentions something about being in a relationship for 6 years in one of the songs. I don't remember which song. But then I feel like...
I can't remember which song it is either.
And I can't remember
what song it is either, but yeah.
Okay, hang on. You were cutting out a little bit.
I'm sorry.
That's not your fault. That's what sucks about us not being in the same state anymore is we can't be in the same room like we used to be.
Yeah, this is true. It sucks that I moved states away.
Yeah, because I feel like Kick It could almost have a double meaning of like, I'd have to listen to it again, but like I want to kick it with you, like I want to spend time with you, or also like Kick It, it's time for you to like kick it to the curb, like it's time for you to get gone so I can move on. So it could be one of those ones that has like a double meaning.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
And then the next track was No Time. See, I wish I could listen to this at the same time and not get hit with the copyright crap everywhere.
Yeah, I feel you. No Time. Give me a half a second here.
You're good. Like I said, I can cut the dead air.
I'm trying to get, because I can't remember No Time.
I can't either.
I just want a half a second audio, but I got to go through fucking 30 seconds of ads. Sorry for swearing.
I'm about to just play it on my end. I don't have ads on
as soon as this. Well, I typically don't.
Okay, I just played the wrong song. I started playing
really another ad. Really. I don't have any ads on my Spotify on my phone, but whenever I play it on my PlayStation, there's ads.
I got it playing. I feel like this is one that was like I got basically no time for bull crap.
Probably. and then it plays Better Be.
Oh, she's doing it.
The same.
That's what I. It's like she's no time with like I played about 20 seconds of it, but it's like she was saying like I don't have much time, but we can get it done. So it's almost like she doesn't have time to mess around with stuff. She just wants to like get on the grind with her music type of deal. Like I don't have much time, or like time is short on the earth, and with the time that I have left, I'm gonna do everything I can to better my own life. That's kind of what I feel like it could be too. Like it's gonna be like I'm making the best use of the time that I have left.
I just want to get it cracking and get going.
I can hear you through my freaking
haters get no time, she said.
Yeah, so it was almost like a okay. Stop it before we get hit with copyright. It is almost like it is almost like it's a like a double thing where it's like I don't got no time for haters, but also like I don't have much time left on the earth in general, like because life is so short. Like it almost like that. As soon as you're born, you're dying kind of phrase. So it's like with the time that you have left, you're gonna make the best of it. So I feel like it's a mixture of that and like I got no time for your BS either. So like just leave me out of your crap.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry.
What happened? Was it still playing?
No, I was sitting there listening to it and I paused it because you said about the copyright. I paused it and I heard everything you were saying on the phone with me coming through the TV, and I was like looking at the TV like, how is that possible? And then I realized we're still in the same chat on PlayStation.
What the heck? I don't know how that's possible.
I could hear you coming through either the mic or your headset through the TV.
I know
because
why.
We're still in the same chat.
Okay, not anymore. My remote play was open. So you're probably still hearing me through the PS4 through the like remote play headset and then hearing me on the call at the same time.
Yeah, like I heard it coming through the TV. I'm like you were sitting there talking and I'm just kind of sitting here in my head, what is happening right now?
You're like, this just officially became another one for creepy story time or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
Okay, so the next track, as I'm eating candy, the next track on the album is Better Be. And I think that's one that was like talking about the next person or whoever it is, like maybe the next person that she's coming into a friendship relationship with better be honest with her.
Yeah.
Like don't kind of like that. What was it on on one of the last couple albums, like that Don't Lie to Me song?
Yeah, Don't Lie to Me. Oh, that was such a great track. I love that.
I feel like Better Be was kind of like a sequel to Don't Lie to Me almost.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if you played them together, it would almost be like the story told through the two of them.
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe with it. It was it definitely went with Don't Lie to Me.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely matched up. It was I don't know, the way she does her.
You sound like you sound like your mouth just farted as I just choked on my candy trying to talk.
Did you just say my mouth farted?
That's it. I was trying to say you sounded like your mouth farted, and then my mouth was trying to deep throat a hard candy, so I started joking.
Quit deep throating it.
This is officially becoming a very explicit episode of the show.
Yeah, this is definitely a NSFW episode.
Yeah, it's like explicit without being explicit because nobody's been vulgar or cussed, but it's been explicit in terms of sexuality.
It's just been
You've got people screwing people screwing
I can't even talk.
You got me deep throating hard candies.
I'm farting out my mouth.
Farting out your mouth. You got poop wedding dresses.
Yeah, you got a poo dress.
And you got all of this in the middle of us trying to review Whitney Peyton's album.
You got a freaking poo dress, and we ain't talking about
Winnie. Oh my goodness. Okay, back on track. The The next song on the album is Smile, and I think that was the one, if I'm not mistaken, that deals directly. I think that was the one I felt like was directly relating to like depression.
Yeah, I agree. That one
Is that the
to
one where she
me
says
was,
in the beginning, like the I'm not religious, show me God or something like that, and I'll change my mind? Is it that one or is it the next one? Now I can't remember.
no, it was that one. It was
I thought so.
she was saying about, it seems like it's a song about depression but trying to overcome.
Trying to overcome it, which obviously
Yeah.
immediately is going to relate to me because the past few days,
That's
which you wouldn't know from us talking with how much fun I'm having, but like the past week or so, I've been dealing with my own bout with depression. So like
I mean,
me trying to fight back and battle that, and then hearing a song like that and being able to relate to it is pretty cool because I know a lot of other people will also be able to relate to the song as well.
I was just gonna say you're not the only one that's been feeling that way recently either. So,
And anybody
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, and I know that anybody that deals with depression will tell you on a daily, like, you'll also be like, I'm feeling depressed, and someone will be like, well, why? And you're just like, I don't know. Like, it just happens. You don't really know why you're feeling that way, which is the hardest part about it, because I feel like if you did know why you were feeling depressed, if we did know why, then it would be a lot easier to overcome it because we'd be able to figure out the source of the problem and then just change our thinking. But when you just start getting down about yourself for no reason, there's really you can't really get to the bottom of it, of what's causing that. And that's like the hardest part about depression. And I've been wanting to actually address mental health for a while now because I know a lot of my listeners and supporters deal with some of the same things. So this episode kind of segued into that a little bit.
And I mean, it kind of, like, even if you are one that deals with it, like if you have friends, like, I mean, you, for an example, just, what was it, tonight, you said something about you were down and feeling depressed recently, and
right.
I deal with that kind of stuff too, and my first initial text back to you was, why, bro?
Right.
Like, I know, you don't know why half the time, but it's just your first initial feeling to be like, well, why are you down? Like, even if they don't know why, that's just your initial reaction to ask what's going on. Why?
Yeah,
are you
it's always
that
because,
way?
and sometimes you might be able to say that, but a lot of times when it happens, it just comes on out of nowhere. Now, there are other times where there is something causing it, like maybe there's something said or something that triggers it, and you can identify the triggers. Unfortunately, in this situation, that didn't happen. I just randomly started feeling depressed, and I'm already fighting back. This is the kind of thing, like doing the podcast, doing the YouTube, that kind of stuff. That's what helps me. Like, that's like my therapy session because it's kind of my escape from my own mind when I deal with crap like that. So it kind of helps me just push it to the wayside and do this. And then doing it with you, who's like one of my best friends on the planet. I don't really have any friends anymore. Or you're like one of my only friends.
I don't either, bro.
But the one thing I always tell people all the time, the worst part about depression is you feel like you're alone. So in that moment is the best moment to reach out and to try and find a friend, because you are never alone. And there are like millions, if not billions, of people on this planet that are dealing with the same thing. So there is a community out there if people want to reach out.
Yeah. And I mean, I know why I've been feeling depressed the past week and a half, but there ain't nothing that can change that. This is all on me, the reason I feel like it. So
right. And you just have to kind of find it within yourself to push through and overcome it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and hopefully hanging out with me will help, like it does with me.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, like, you probably would know why. I mean, I told you that I've recorded videos already and I haven't uploaded nothing yet.
Right.
Because I feel like it's not good enough and I don't want to throw it out there to the public. That's why I haven't done it yet. I have like 3 videos. I have like 3 videos right now saved that I've recorded, and I've edited and got where I can publish them, and I just haven't yet because I don't feel like they are good enough, and that's for anybody who has watched my YouTube video, that is why there hasn't been another upload yet, because I don't feel what I've recorded is good enough.
So anybody that listens to this that knows about Twiztid Joker's YouTube channel, go to his YouTube, spam in the comments, upload the freaking video. We want to see it so that he can overcome these feelings and just push it out anyway, which is what I do. Like, I'll be like, I really don't like this video, and I'll just upload it anyway.
Like, I legitimately have at least 3 videos recorded, and I plan on hopefully, possibly, if Tonysaurus Rex will do it with me, recording another one with him this weekend.
Provided I can find the time. I got 2 interviews, but sometime either before or after one of the interviews, I'm sure we can do something.
Yeah, but I have at least 3 videos saved that I could upload. I don't feel they're good enough. I don't feel they're entertaining enough. So
you've heard me.
I'm new to YouTube.
I deal with that all the time. And I've been doing it since October of last year, and I still struggle with that.
But I'm new to YouTube, and I'm not that type of person that can, like, play a game and just talk to myself.
Yeah, like, it's very difficult. But that's one thing where, like, once you start doing it and keep doing it, it'll get easier. It's just one of those things where you have to just keep doing it in order to get better at it.
I just feel like it's something that if I'm going to record stuff, I need somebody that I can interact with, like, actually be there talking to me, like, even if they're not somebody that's playing a game with me, just like somebody sitting in the room with me, and they can be heard on mic too with my interactions. And because I feel like when I'm playing a game by myself and I'm talking, I just feel stupid.
How do you think I feel when I watch my stuff back at the time?
Like, I sit there and
you're like, who just wants to sit there and watch me talk while I'm playing a video game? And then you end up being surprised by how many people actually enjoy it.
Like, I've sat there and watched back all 3 videos that I have recorded, and I'm like, who is going to think this is good in any way? Like, I sound stupid. I'm sitting here talking to myself. What the hell is going on right now?
Here's the best advice I can give you. Instead of just talking to yourself, either pretend like the game is who you're talking to, or pretend like you're talking to another person while you're playing the game. Like, talk to the viewers. So, like, imagine the people that are watching you are the ones that are in the room with you when you're talking. It'll make it easier.
See, like, that's what I've tried to do in a couple of my videos. Well, a couple of my recordings. But, like, at the same time, when I do it, I pause afterwards, like, waiting for a response, and I'm like, well, you're not going to respond, so what the hell am I doing?
Well, that's the beauty of editing right there. You just cut out that part. That's what I do.
I mean, like, I'm terrible at it. Like, I'll sit there and I'll record a really good gameplay, but when I come back and listen to it, and I'm like, this audio is horrible. Who am I talking to? Why am I even talking right now? Like, just shut up. Just play.
Yeah, that is the hardest part, because you have to talk and play. I mean, you don't have to. You could just play and upload it, but, like, it's not as entertaining to just watch the game.
Yeah, I mean, I know myself, if I'm watching somebody on YouTube playing a game, I want to hear commentary.
And most of the time, you're watching for the commentary. Like, you're not even necessarily watching for the game itself. Typically, you're watching for that person to, like, see their take on stuff.
Exactly. You're watching, like, their reactions or the way they are playing the game, how they react to it, and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know.
We've completely gotten off track here. I just realized
we have
probably spent almost an hour reviewing one album because we've broken off into different subjects so many times.
It's all right. This podcast is still going to be interesting because
this is our first podcast together, so it's not structured as nicely as I would like it to be. But
hey, it doesn't have to be structured. That's the way it goes.
Episode of Everything But the Podcast for the year 2020. So deal with it, people. Deal with it. If we can deal with it,
it doesn't have to be structured as long as it entertains you.
It better entertain you. It better. That's all I'm going to say. You better leave me a positive review, or it'll hurt my feelings.
Don't hurt the feel goods.
Okay, the next song on the album, Like You Mean It.
Oh.
I'm looking at it, and I cannot pronounce the name of the person that is on this song.
Eliga Kahatek.
Something weird like that.
It's Elaha Kahatek.
Something like that. That's another one where I literally don't remember that song for some reason. Like I do, but I don't at the same time. Like You Mean It. Now, the last one I remember probably the most. Not the same.
Like You Mean It. I may be incorrect, but the Like You Mean It, I think, is I don't even know who sings the song, but the Love Me Like You Do song.
Right.
I think it's kind of the same concept, like you better do it like you mean it. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be with me, you better love me like you mean it.
I'm playing it.
Yeah, you might want to, because I could be wrong, but I think that's what the concept is.
It's saying something about being inside my head again. Okay, this sounds like another song where you're dealing with relationship issues. But then it said like you said that I'm not enough for you or whatever. It said like I'm doing my best.
You better leave me like you mean it.
Yeah, something like so. That is like a more like a breakup song. Like once you leave me, that's it. Don't try to come back type of deal. Maybe it's more of like a don't play head games with me.
Yeah.
And like I said, another one is a lot of what the most thing that draws you into the album in general with a lot of the songs is the beats, but then it's her delivery. Like each song she's able to deliver with a different style of flow than the song before it that is able to match the tone of the song and like the theme and everything. Like you were saying earlier, every single song somehow ties back into the title of the album, Alpha. Like it all kind of ties together somehow. Well, even that one almost feels like the person's leaving or whatever. They're letting their mom talk trash about her, so it's almost like she was the alpha of the relationship because the other person was just letting everybody else like talk crap about her, basically, or not standing up for her, not taking charge of the relationship.
Yeah. She's
once again, we could be wrong. This is purely speculation just from us listening to the album, so don't quote us on it. Maybe I can at some point get Whitney Peyton on to talk with me or with us about the album in detail, which I've been trying to do. So I'm trying to get a hold of her, but I don't remember the contact info. But
I was
hopefully,
say, I'm sure.
Whitney Peyton, if you listen to this, get at you, boy. Let's do another interview.
I'm sure we could get at her again because we've done it before. We've had an interview with her before. I'm sure we could get at her again and she could explain in more detail.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and segue into the last song, Not the Same, which is like, that's another one that's like one of my favorites on the album because it's like another one where it says like, you say I've changed or like you say I've become bitter and all this stuff. And it's like she hasn't, but she's not the same. So it's like she has changed, but not in the way that the person says she has.
Yeah, I get from that one that she's not the same as she used to be, but didn't change for the worse. Yeah, she didn't change for the worse how the person that she's saying in the video or in the song is saying she did. She's changed for the better. She's gotten better at everything. She's done better for herself, which I can agree with. To me, she has. She's done a lot better.
And yes, the name of the record label is Suburban Noise Records. I literally just realized when I got to the last song of the album that right under it, it says copyright 2020 Suburban Noise Records. So literally the whole time it told me the label. I didn't even realize it. I was right about that.
I do want to say something about this album though. In the album in full, the entire thing, any time in this album Whitney Peyton goes from rapping to singing, she does great at her rapping. She does ridiculous at some of the speed she does in her raps. Her singing voice is amazing. She sings so
I agree
damn
with
good.
that. I agree with that. I was almost worried you were gonna be like, her singing sucks. But I was like, we were gonna have an argument
No,
on it. But I actually do.
her
Yeah, I
singing.
actually do agree that it's almost seamless. That sometimes, because she could do both. Like she has multi talents on it.
Yes, and honestly, I would not mind, not at all. I would not mind hearing an entire song done by her with her just singing it, not rapping at all, just singing,
Yeah.
because she has such a beautiful singing voice. She has a really good singing voice.
Okay, Twiztid Joker, quit flirting with them. Just kidding.
No, I'm not. I mean,
I'm just kidding. No,
honestly,
she does. You know, we're two friends. We're gonna give each other a hard time. It just comes with the territory.
Yes.
But like, I do agree. Like
honestly,
her, and I just like how she could go directly from the singing into the rapping and then back to the singing again, and it's just like completely seamless. Like there's no, it all goes together.
She's flawless. She's flawless in her musical talents. Like she's ridiculous. It's flawless.
And now we've reviewed the entire album, but we have not actually talked about the album art, like the cover for the album. So
I think the cover is. I think it's perfect representation of what the album is.
I was just about to say the same thing because the alpha and where it has the wolf, so it ties into it. But kind of how she's like sitting and leaning against the wolf, but it's almost like her head is in her hand, and she's just like, almost like she wants everybody to leave her alone. But then the wolf has like that the wolf is kind of like, because it's a white wolf, it's kind of like noble, and it's considered the alpha, so it's like at the top of its game or at the top of the food chain. So it's almost like she's at the top now and she's sick of all the people trying to bring her down, which is kind of how it feels like with the album cover a little bit too. Like you're just getting worn down from everything.
I kind of get the same. My take on the album cover is she's up there with the alpha. She's the alpha. She's one with the wolf. She is the alpha wolf. But her human form is depressed and upset with all the bull that she has to take from everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because it ties together, which is like the demise of the whole album.
Yep, like as I said, she's one with the wolf, so she's up there and she's not going to take no crap from nobody.
So that's going to do it for the review section. I know originally I was going to review another album too, but because we've already been going for so long, I'll save that for another episode. We literally just...
we made that review extremely long.
It's all right. We had a lot to talk about. I mean, technically the review was on the tangent we got on about depression and all the other stuff.
I mean, that album brought out a lot of stuff to talk about, so...
I did manage to track down those other questions too, and I wanted to have time to see what.
Oh boy!
Now the first one I'm not going to do because it just says "What's your favorite joke?" and I'm sorry, but I'm not answering that because I don't know a favorite joke, so that one's being thrown out the window.
I know my favorite joke. Joke, but I can't.
Well, yeah, if it's that bad, then don't say it. So we're going to skip that one and go into the next one.
I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna.
This next one, I think, is interesting. It says, if you could create your own game without any limits, what would it look like? That was like a really tough question, but a really good question. Create your own game without any limits, what would it look like?
Well, it's a good question, but it's also kind of a confusing question.
I think because of the looks, but I think the look-alike is like not in terms of like graphics, but maybe it's like if you could create, you had no limits, you could create whatever game you wanted. What would it be like? I think is what the wording was meant to be. Like you have no limits, so you could make it the best-looking game, but like, what would your game be?
That's a really tough one, actually.
Dinosaurs fighting aliens and zombies.
Well, that's interesting.
I want a free for all. I want a free for all of every single monster type that's ever been: werewolves, vampires, freaking zombies, aliens, and then you just have dinosaurs somewhere thrown in there. Or maybe not all dinosaurs, but maybe you have like one T-Rex, because obviously I'm Tonysaurus Rex. So I want a game where the main character is a T-Rex, but he can also talk. So I wanted to have a bit of a story-driven campaign. Maybe this T-Rex is trying to solve a case of what caused all humans to be turned into zombies, vampires, and werewolves.
So, like L.A. Noire with dinosaurs?
With dinosaurs, zombies, vampires, werewolves, and aliens. And then we got to add some fighting in there, because you can't just have it be that. You got to have some action in there. So somehow these other things have to be powered up enough to be able to fight a T-Rex.
You got to throw some Mortal Kombat up in there.
No, I'm thinking more of the Dragon Ball Z line, where they can power up their special moves.
Oh, man. I don't even know what I would.
There's my freaking game. That's the best I can describe it. I mean, I don't even know. If I had more time to think about it, maybe I would, but it's almost 2:00 in the morning, so that's about all the time I can commit to it.
Mine would have to be a combination of 3 existing games.
Oh boy. I want to hear this now.
Mine has to be like Grand Theft Auto. And add in, like, take out all the aspects of getting out of your car. Just Grand Theft Auto.
With dinosaurs?
Take out the getting out of your car. No, take out the getting out of your car, the running around the city. Just take, like, that environment and then add Wreckfest graphics for damage and concepts like that. And then bring in the classic. Oh, come on, kid. Bring in the classic Twiztid Metal.
Okay.
And have like a battle royal game with Twiztid Metal characters with Wreckfest graphics in a Grand Theft Auto environment.
That sounds like pure insanity.
It does, but it sounds like it would be my favorite game ever.
And it's like a vehicle-based battle royale, which makes it interesting too.
Yeah, like,
but I still say you
Twiztid
should add
Metal
the zombies.
was the first ever battle royale.
I still say you should add zombies and dinosaurs, because everything's better with dinosaurs. Oh my goodness, with zombies and dinosaurs, everything is better. I couldn't talk. I mean, like, stumbling over my words like I always do.
Like you're saying, it sounds like a vehicle-based battle royal, but if you really think about it, Twiztid Metal was the first ever battle royal game.
Yeah, because it was elimination-based.
Yeah.
And the final question that we had, since nobody else answered, I mean, we answered. Technically, the final question was the one we answered.
Nobody else answered.
I mean, nobody else asked anything. Technically, the final question was the one at the beginning of the episode, so this one was older. But it was, if you could travel back in time or into the future, which would you choose? Like, would you go back in time or would you go to the future? I really don't have an answer for that one, honestly, because I don't know if I'd want to go to either. Because I feel like if you go into the future, you run the risk of possibly seeing how you die. Or maybe if you're trying to go to the future, you go too far ahead into the future and you're already dead. So maybe that would kind of conflict with you trying to go into the future, and then you would just cease to exist, which worries me. And then I feel like that could be the same thing with going into the past. You go too far into the past, you're not even born yet. So how can you watch anything that's happening in the past if you're not even born yet?
Well, I mean, like, the concept would be like, if you go into the future, it doesn't matter if you go past your death. You're still alive at the time you went into the future. So maybe
I just think too far into it, because I think if you're going into the future, then you're kind of ceasing to exist because you're already dead. So you're just surpassing that. I have a weird way of thinking about things, though.
But you're not going into the future after you're dead. You're going into the future as whatever age you are when you go into the future. So,
yeah. I don't know. That's a
Like,
tough question because like Back to the Future, like you run the risk of like depending on how far in the future you go, but it's like where you're like running into yourself.
like my initial thought was going into the past, but at the same time, if you go into the past, you can screw up a lot of things, and you can eliminate your existence
I was
on
thinking the
accident.
same thing. You go into the past and you go into the wrong situation or screw something up, and then like you ruin the history as we know it.
Yeah, like see, like
So you're
my
like, yeah,
initial
it'd be
thought.
cool to see this, but then you're like, yeah, but if you see this and then screw something up,
Yeah, like my initial thought whenever you said that was, I'll go back to the future and meet Hitler before he was that bad and kill him.
wait. I think you mean Back to the Past. You said I'll go back to the future and meet Hitler. That's
Oh
not like
yeah,
my
I did. Oh, because you said about the movie and it made me
We
think Back to
literally
the
just
Future.
combined like all of our games with some kind of a sci-fi movie of like Hitler somehow didn't really die and he's in the future.
No,
And
you said Back
now
to
it's
the
our mission in
Future
life
and
to
it made
travel
me
to both
think.
the past and the future and kill both multiverse versions of Hitler. That's where I'm going with this.
No,
I'm
you
segueing
said
into
Back to
something
the
really cool.
Future and you
I
said
did
Back
say
to the
I did
Future,
reference Back to the Future.
and whenever I initially meant to say Back to the Past, I said Back to the Future because of your reference.
But you gotta admit, my idea for the movie actually sounded interesting.
It did. It did.
Team of Heroes has to
No,
go to
go
the
back.
past and the future because they got to kill two versions of Hitler now.
I would go back to the past and kill Hitler, but that could ruin my existence because I'm German. So,
Oh yeah, so that's interesting.
and that could destroy my existence. I don't know.
There's something I wanted to do. Now this is like completely random, but that's kind of how this episode has been building. I wanted to do this for this person.
Our episode is right.
Someone had actually messaged me on Twitter today. Lucy Trotman, I think was her name. She was doing something on Twitter for her dad's birthday on Monday. I don't know how much she wants me to go into detail about it, except that he's like had a rough year, like been dealing with some stuff medically. So she's been trying to reach out to Patrick Stewart, which I think he's from Star Trek, right? Like the
Yes.
original Star Trek.
Star Trek and American Dad.
And isn't he Professor Xavier next man?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think it. So she's been trying to reach out to him because she would like Patrick Stewart to maybe do like a video or something, like wishing her dad like a happy birthday kind of thing. So I'm trying to do this shout out for her for any listeners who may not already be following on Twitter to maybe look up her handle and find. While we're talking, I'm gonna try and look up Patrick Stewart's like Twitter handle. But Lucy's Twitter handle is Lucy. It is spelled capital L, lowercase UCY, then the underscore, then capital J, AYNE 22. So maybe you could go to her profile. She has a tweet on there. Here's how I can find it. She has a tweet on there that says her dad's birthday is on Monday. Ooh, so I need to try and get this episode up fast if she wants to do it. But she wants to see if he can maybe send her dad a birthday video. Okay, here's his Twitter is at Sir Pat Stew. So any listeners that hear this, or new listeners, old listeners, or anybody that follows me on Twitter, maybe you can tweet at Sir Pat Stew and try and draw attention to this for this person. Because at Everything But the Podcast, I like to try and help people in any way I can to achieve their dreams. And this is a dream of her father or of her to try and do something special for her father. I support that. I know what it's like to have a rough year and to want to tweet from somebody. So everybody hit up at Sir Pat Stew and see what you can do. This is a rally call for the Rexy fam to do what we can.
Are you tweeting it right now? Because if you are,
it.
I will tweet it right to Patrick Stewart.
I've already tweeted him earlier today. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I tweeted him earlier today. I'll probably do another one at some point for now.
I was going to say I'll do it too.
But I did do. Holy crap! I can't freaking find it. Well, I'll retweet you later and I'll tag you in it so that way you can do it.
All right, sounds good. Because I follow Patrick Stewart on Twitter. So.
And another thing I wanted to do was to shout out Muse of the Where These Scary Things Are podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts. Her and her the other person that runs it, his name is Ken. I don't remember what his last name is. They run that podcast. It's all like related to horror and like stuff like that. Next Friday, I believe, next Friday night, I'll be recording an episode of Everything But the Podcast with them. So they're going to be coming on the show. So I wanted to shout them out. Make sure you guys go check out their podcast. It's a really awesome podcast. Muse went out of her way to go to my Podchaser, which Twiztid Joker you know about because I told you about it. The Podchaser, which is the new platform I'm pushing that allows you to rate and review the podcast. She went out of her way to rate and actually review both of my shows on there, and that really meant a lot to me. So I wanted to give Muse a shout out. I'm kind of trying to round this out because we only got 3 minutes left of this call, so I'm trying to end the episode because we've gone on for a while. But those would be.
We can have another call.
I mean, yeah, if I decide to keep going on, I will. But and the last person is oh my goodness, their freaking Twitter handle is so long. Beyond the Veil Investigations, they're a paranormal group on YouTube. They've been supporting me as well, like quite a bit actually, and they were sharing about my stuff, and they've been true supporters as well. So I wanted to shout them out and tell everybody to go check out their channel. Twiztid Joker, I don't know if you have any shout outs of anybody that you've talked to on Twitter or anything like that. If you do, go ahead.
Not really, just my YouTube that doesn't go anywhere yet.
Yeah, that is Twiztid Joker. The Twiztid is spelled, or the T in Twiztid. Okay, it's spelled TWIZTID. Joker is spelled JOKER, and then there's like a space and a 717, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Just look that up on YouTube or hit me up on Twitter at Tonysaurus Rex. Rex is spelled REKS on Twitter instead of like everything else because someone already stole my freaking name on Twitter. So I had to change it. But hit me up if you want the link to Twiztid Joker's YouTube channel, and I will give it to you. Make sure you check it out. The first video on his channel is already up. It features me. We were playing some human fall flat, and it was like a pretty crazy time. It was pretty hilarious. So make sure you guys go and check that out and show some love to his channel.
It was ridiculous, and hopefully we can record another video of that this weekend.
You know what we need to come up with now?
What's that?
A sign off.
A sign off.
Yeah, for like like if we start doing stuff more often, we should end with something of one of us saying something.
Well, this has been your boys.
Miss Poopy Pants, have a good one.
Miss Poopy Dress.
As always, everybody, thank you so much for listening to Everything But the Podcast. This has been Tonysaurus Rex alongside my co-host, which will probably be on way more often, Twiztid Joker. And we want to tell you all to stay Rexy and chase your dreams. There we go. That's my outro for this one. I mean, I'll hopefully come up with something funnier for the next one. But I still like stay Rexy because I use it on YouTube. So screw it. Deal with it. Stay Rexy. And just remember Miss Poopy Pants.
Peace out.
Hey guys, Tonysaurus Rex here. A little bit of bonus clip here from the beginning of the recording. Before we started recording the podcast episode, Twiztid Joker and I had a little bit of banter going back and forth that we thought was pretty funny. Even though it was cut out of the original episode, I decided to add it back in here as a bonus episode. So yeah, this is going to be that, and we will see you in the... We're not going to see you, but you will hear us in the next episode. Hopefully, we're hoping to record another one here soon. If it's not with Twiztid Joker, maybe with someone else. And also be on the lookout for the Masters of the Underground Rebirth episode number 2, featuring Jay Bizarre. And episode number 3 should be coming soon as well. I usually do, well, since we're doing it together as like if you were a co-host, and I'm treating this like I'm freaking interviewing you, but I'm not.
Yeah,
today we're interviewing Twiztid Joker.
Nah, we do. We sitting here bullshitting. That's all we do.
Yeah. So what we'll do is, it's got 42 minutes on the clock now. It literally tells me how much time I have left. It'll probably end on its own, and then if we want to continue, then you'll have to call back again. Which is originally why I told you.
Okay, I got it. It's all good.
If you had the pen and paper, I could have written it to you. But
you could have wrote it to me?
You could, yeah, I could have written it to you. Now I feel like I need to leave this part of it just in the podcast.
I mean, you can, bro.
I might, or just add it in at the end.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, jeez, I don't know what's going on right now, so it's all good.
I don't know either because I've only ever done the podcast like on my own or with interviews. I've never actually tried it with a friend. But
well, we doing it tonight.
Because we've been friends for so long, I figured it was going to work out better.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be beautiful.
All right, let me throw an intro in here.
All right. Yeah.